Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to today's live stream and a very happy Women's Day to all the lovely ladies here. And if you're wondering that why am I so decked up today, so the reason is this only. It's Women's Day today and aaj to banta hai. So tell me guys, how was your last week? And kaisa hai dil? Okay, dil hai garden. Wonderful. That's how our heart should always be. So, let us begin today's session and dive right into it. The topic for today's discussion is relationship hacks to build unbreakable bonds. So, let's get into it. Let's begin by understanding that we all have two kinds of relationships. The first one is a relationship with our own self, and the other one, the second one, is our relationship with others. Okay, so now guess who's the person with whom you spend most of your time? The one person with whom you spend most of your time. Okay, you can write in the chat box and tell me, who is the one person with whom you spend most of your time? Yes, you are right. It is you. It is you with whom you spend most of your time. You take yourself wherever you go. So it is very important that the kind of relationship with you have with your own self. Because if you have an unhappy relationship with your own self, it's very difficult to find happiness outside. So the first relationship that we all must commit to, consciously work on and evolve is our relationship with our own self. That's most important. Our relationship with our own self. Because we ourselves are the person with whom we have to spend all of our life, right? So now what happens is, the outer world is just an exaggerated version of the world inside, of our inner world. So when you notice people treating you a particular way, I always suggest people to go inwards and see for themselves that how are they treating their own selves. Because how you treat your own self is exactly the way the world will treat you. So it's very important. Let's understand, many a times we start looking at the projection, the projected world. Whereas we need to understand that the world outside is just a shadow, it's just a reflection of what is on the inside. Suppose, let's assume that you have a projector and you're projecting something on a screen, maybe on a wall. Okay, and if that film which you're getting on the wall is not clear, you will start saying, अरे clear नहीं है, अरे ये क्या हो रहा है, कुछ problem है, गंदा है, right? But the thing is that no matter how much you start fixing the wall, you start working on the wall and finding things to fix the wall, it will not help if the projector itself is faulty. And that's exactly how it is with us. If we are not having a happy and a harmonious relationship with our own self, we will find the same getting projected in the outside world. So having said that, the most important relationship that we need to work on is our relationship with our own self. And now let's move on to our other relationships, or our relationships with those around us. Human beings are the only species which are very social. We strive and thrive on relationships around us. And that is the reason why, if we are not able to build those happy and respectful relationships around us, it causes us the most suffering. And you know, the reason for this is because when we were studying, when we were in school, we were taught physics, chemistry, biology, geography, mathematics. We were taught all the subjects, but the subject which matters the most in life was left for us to figure out on our own. देख लेना, सीख लेना, ऐसे ही होता है, right? So there was no learning on relationships that was imparted. No education was imparted on relationships when we were in school. And the only way we learned was through observing others or whatever society told us. That is how we learned about relationships. And they were left on autopilot. Figure it out yourself. And you can imagine that anything which does not have a driver, any car which does not have a driver, is bound to meet with an accident. And that is the reason why the most amount of suffering is caused because of relationships. Now, also to believe that it is only women who suffer in relationships is also not true. You know, I have a friend who is a relationship coach for men. And let me tell you, the amount of suffering which is on the other side is equal, if not more. Even men suffer a lot if the relationship is not working, right? So if a relationship is not working, it is for both the partners. And that is the reason why we need to work, we need to invest, and we need to learn about relationships, right? So all those people who have children of marriageable age, I would strongly recommend that before you go ahead and arrange that big fat Indian wedding, or before you go and buy that beautiful Sabyasachi lehenga for your daughter, or that luxurious tuxedo for your son, go ahead and buy them a relationship mastery course. Let them be educated about relationships. Because I come from a time, and I'm sure many of you would also agree with me. When we were children, we were told that the most important decision which you're going to make in your life is the stream that you're going to choose or the career that you're going to choose. However, now when I look back, I see that the most important decision that one needs to make in life is the choice of your spouse. The person you choose to live the rest of your life with. Because you may have the most amazing career, but if you do not have the right partner to live your life with, उस करियर का क्या ही करना है, right? So this is something which I tell my child, and if you want, you can train your children also about it, that the most important decision in your life is the spouse, the person whom you are going to live the rest of your life with. It's very important, right? So, did you guys bring your cup of tea to have with me? Okay. All right. So, now, yeah. So, we were talking about how the choice of our spouse is most important. Who we are going to choose to live our life with. And as I was talking about I want all of you who are sitting here, I want you to be drivers of your own relationships. I don't want you to let your relationships go on an autopilot mode, right? Be the driver of your own relationship, okay? And another thing which I would like to point out is when we talk of suffering of both the partners, you know, it's just that one of the gender is more expressive, so they talk about more about problems of relationships, right? The other gender has a different expression. Sometimes they go into doing a lot of work, or they would go to alcoholism or any kind of an addiction to numb their pain, right? So any kind of addiction is actually a defense mechanism of ours to numb a pain of something else, right? So what happens is, if a relationship is not going on well, people find other ways to numb that pain. They may, the addiction could be of say immersing yourself in too much work, or hanging out with your friends more than you hang out at home, right? Or else it could be another thing like Netflix, or it could be Instagram or any other social media, right? So we are just trying to numb a particular area that is not working in our life, which is not the best approach, right? So rather we need to consider how much time, how much money and effort have we invested in a relationship? Have we invested anything towards a relationship? Because the very first mantra of having a good relationship, the first hack which you need to understand is that relationships need work. Relationships need work. The only thing which you don't need to work about is, guess what? Can you guess? Anyone? The only thing that you don't have to work for is what? Breathing. The only thing that we don't need to put conscious effort into is breathing. We don't say that, भूल गए, अभी तो breathe करना था, याद आ गया, अच्छा हुआ याद आ गया, breathe करना है, चलो जल्दी से breathe कर लेते हैं. It is something which is happening on an autopilot. It is a body which is taking care of it, right? But apart from breathing, everything else needs work. Whatever we work on improves. If you work towards your career improves. If you work towards your health improves. Okay, so likewise, we need to work on our relationships as well if we want them to work, right? But sadly, what we think is that once we have done that big fat Indian wedding and spent lakhs and lakhs of money on it, now our work is over. Hamara kaam khatam. And now that person whom we have tagged as our husband needs to do everything. Just because that person said I do to us, okay, or he took Sat Feras with us 10 years back or many years back. Now it is his responsibility to understand me. It is his responsibility to understand me. Because he's my husband. He's my husband. You are my husband, so you need to understand me. You are my child, so you need to understand me. You are my parent, so you need to understand me. So what do? We go on mute without saying much about a relationship or what we want in a relationship, and we leave it. We give all the responsibility in the hands of our spouse, that just because he took Sat Feras with us, or he said I do, now it is his responsibility to understand me for the rest of my life and keep me happy. However, it is the responsibility of both the partners who are in a relationship to make the relationship work, right? So anything that you work on works. Okay, so that's one very important thing. Anything that you work on works, right? So now there's one more thing which I need to, okay, let me quickly tell you one more important thing. Oh yes, one more thing which I want you all to understand. Okay, that is, we all need to work towards the relationships, right? So today I'm going to give you some mantras, some concepts. Some of them are going to be brutal truths, right? And some of you are not going to like them, you're going to drop out, right? Whereas there will be some people who will implement these truths in their life, and they will notice the trajectory of their relationships going on to a different level altogether. Okay, so first of all, the first mantra which I want to share with you all, the first thing to remember, the first hack that you need to remember when it comes to your relationship is that the only person you have control on is you. The only person you have control is on you, right? So if you go on saying that they are doing this to me, right? I don't know what to do. I don't have any control on it, right? These people are going on doing this to me. Actually, you're giving your control to others, okay? And it is, what actually causes you much pain is what you are doing to yourself after what they were doing to you has stopped, right? So once the person who is hurting you has stopped doing what he or she was doing, now what you do after that is what causes you to go through a pain or to have a good and harmonious relationship, right? So let's understand this by this. People trigger you for a second, but you live that moment for minutes, for many seconds after that, for hours, for days, for years altogether. Many of us are living a pain, a hurt, which somebody did to us, say 20 years back, but we are still holding on to it, right? What we need to understand is that arrow, वो तीर जो हमारी साइड आया था, that came just once. But after that, what did we do? How many times did we shoot that arrow to ourselves? Multiple times. Multiple times we shoot that arrow to ourselves. So, what we need to understand is it is not what they are doing to us. Rather, it is what we are doing to ourselves after they have stopped doing what they were doing. You remember the knife of last week that I told you about? Okay, let's take out that knife. Let's take that out. That knife out. Okay, supposing this is the knife. Okay, this is the knife of hurtful words which somebody said to you, right? Now, this has gone into your heart. Your heart is bleeding, right? मेरे husband ने मुझे ये कहा था. Ouch. My children don't listen to me. Ouch. My mother-in-law said this to me. Ouch. Right? So that knife is now in your heart. Okay, now what do you do? Take your other hand, press on the knife, press on the knife. Yeah, press, press, huh? Press on the knife. Go on pressing. We have to do it for days, we have to do it for weeks, for years altogether. Press करना है हमें. And some of us will be pressing this knife right into the graveyard. ग्रेवयार्ड में भी हम में से कुछ ये बोल रहे होंगे कि उसने मेरे साथ ये किया था. राइट? सो करना क्या है? व्हाट डू वी नीड टू डू? टेक दिस नाइफ आउट, थ्रो इट, पुट अ balm. That's what we need to do. But what we do is something opposite. If something hurtful comes our way, we relive that so many times. We keep pressing on the knife, and then we say that the pain is still there, the hurt is still there. Right? So, whenever somebody hurts you, take the knife out, throw it. Right? What you need to do instead is to evolve yourself. Go above that hurt. Go above that hurt. Right? Something which caused you pain. Evolve yourself. You know, last week also I told you this. Whenever you have a problem, stop solving, start evolving. Make yourself so good that you rise above it. Okay? So, you need to remember that nothing in your life has meaning apart from the meaning that you give to it. Right? So all the power lies in your hands. The power is in your hands, whether you want to press the knife harder and harder, or you want to evolve yourself so much that the next time the knife comes your way, you turn it around and you drop it down. Right? So, there is one brutal truth which I am going to give you right now. And that is that if you cannot control your own emotions, you don't have the moral authority to tell somebody else to take care of you. If you can't take care of your own emotions, the way you are feeling, right? If you are not taking care of that, if you can't take care of your own emotions, you don't have the moral authority to ask somebody else to take care of your emotions, to take care of how you feel. Okay, so take responsibility, take 100% responsibility of the way you are feeling. Okay, why? Because the only person you have control is you. You don't have control on the outside world. You have control on your own self, right? So instead of wanting to fix the other person, rather, what you need to do is you need to change how you react to that particular situation. Okay? Because when you're trying to fix the other person, you will work for years and years and years altogether trying to fix them. And you're giving your part to them. Okay? On the contrary, if you try to fix your own self, you try to improve your own self, evolve your own being, the power which you get from that is going to stay with you for a lifetime. Alright? So that is something which you need to remember. The only person you have control over is you. Okay? So take care of your own heart. Evolve yourself. Make yourself better. Learn about emotional mastery. Learn about relationship mastery. Okay? Learn how to control your own emotions rather than telling somebody else to change. Okay, so that was one thing, right? Now what happens is many of us remain in victim consciousness. Okay, people who are in victim consciousness, they don't want to take responsibility of anything which is happening in their life. Rather, they go on blaming, complaining, and criticizing others. right? They blame other people for what is happening with them. They don't want to take responsibility in their own hands. No? Um, so, what these people do, they try to find that how wrong the other person is. Okay, and even God does not like it. You remember the story of the Israelites, how they used to complain, criticize, right? And what God did was that the journey, which was just supposed to be 40 days long, was turned into 40 years, right? So whenever you're complaining, cribbing, criticizing, even God will not like it. And he says that, okay, I've shown you how these people are. I've shown you how bad, how wrong they can be. But what are you doing about it? If somebody went on hurting you for years and years altogether, what did you do about it? Again, I want you all, let's do a small activity. I want you all to write down, the name of one person who has hurt you. And for how many years has this person hurt you? Okay. So, all right. Okay, some of them are saying my husband for 35 years, for 10 years, my mother-in-law, okay, right. So, when this person has hurt you for so long, what did you do about it? Did you take 100% responsibility of your part in the relationship? Or were you just waiting for them to change? They need to change. I am not responsible. They are the ones who are doing this to me. They are the ones who need to be fixed. And this is something which happens in victim consciousness. People who are in victim consciousness have the highest ego, right? And many times people ask me that why are you saying that they have the highest ego? Because they are the people who need to be pitied. They are the ones who are suffering, right? But on the contrary, they are the ones with the highest ego, because the conversation of the ego is that ये मेरे कारण नहीं हो रहा है. I'm not responsible for this. Somebody else is responsible. Other people are responsible for making me feel this way. I don't have anything to do about it. And ego is a very stubborn state of being. It's a very stubborn state of being, right? So instead of clinging on to ego, instead of clinging on to that victim consciousness, we need to evolve ourselves. Okay, and we need to think that what is it that I can do differently in this situation? What is it that I can do differently in this situation? Because the person on the other side, right, they are saying ki we don't know how to do anything better than this. This is all we know. Okay, the one person is saying you change, you change, you change. The other person is saying I don't know how to change, right? So the person who is in pain has always this choice to step into power. The person who is in pain always has the choice to step into power, right? So, how will you step into your power? By understanding one very important concept, right? And that very important concept is that the people who are hurting you are placed in your life for a reason. Now, because there's some kind of a learning which you need to get from that experience. But most of the times we refuse, we do not allow ourselves to learn that learning and to evolve from that. Okay, And as a result, we remain stuck. The same experience happens over and over and over again because God wants us to learn something from that. And as long as we'll go on refusing to learn, the same experience will keep on repeating over and over again, right? So what happens is, whenever whenever you come across any person who is hurting you, you need to step into your power. That is where you need to step into the evolution of your being and say bless you to that person. Now, why should we bless the person who's hurting us? Because hurt people hurt people, hurt people, right? Why? Because there is this one person who's already so hurt, he does not know how to manage his own emotions, and the hurt is overflowing from him. Okay, and you are saying that this person is going on hurting me, right? Now imagine if a person is filled with love, what will overflow out of him? Love will overflow. But if a person is full of hurt, what will overflow out of him is hurt. So when you encounter a person who is hurting you, you need to step into your power and take a step towards the evolution of your being by saying bless you to that person, pray for that person, bless that person, right? And understand that this person is hurt. That is why he is doing this to me. Okay, so that is one very important hack which we need to understand. The person who's on the other side, who's hurting you, is hurt himself. Okay, so step into your power, be strong, evolve, say bless you to any such person. Okay, and the next time when we meet, we are going to talk about another mantra. Okay, that is this another mantra which is very important and very crucial in relationships, and that is that if the other person would have known better, he would have done better. Okay, the reason why a person behaved a certain way with you was that because that was the only thing he knew back then. So he behaved as per what he knew best. Okay, so this we are going to talk about in an extreme. Okay, we will be talking about it next week when we meet. So guys, how did you like today's session? And I hope you remember the things which I shared with you today. First of all, relationships need work. Don't leave them to chance. Don't leave them to autopilot. Otherwise, they're bound to meet an accident, right? So invest in your relationships. Invest your time, money, and efforts towards it. Before you buy that Sabyasachi lehenga for your daughter, buy her a relationship mastery course. Okay. Second thing, the only person you have control over is you. So stop blaming others for hurting you. Stop pressing that knife deeper and deeper inside your heart. Take the knife out, throw it. Evolve yourself. Become better. Go above that problem, right? Go above that problem. Evolve. You're being so much that every time a person hurts you, you're able to bless them, because at the end of the day, the people who are hurting you are hurt themselves. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's session. And where is your tea? I told you all to bring your tea. Okay, so mine is my CCF chai. It's a detox chai which I always have. It's super yummy, right? So you can share with me, what do you do to detox yourself, your body and your mind, and your relationships too? Okay, so it was great meeting you all, and I hope I've been able to add value to you and serve you to the best of my ability. See you all next week. Till then, bye bye. Have a great week.